Welcome to Connecting with Educators in Virtual Worlds. As educators, our professional connections are crucial for sharing ideas and knowledge, as well as support. Virtual worlds enable us to connect with people inexpensively at all hours and seasons all over the world, adding to our professional learning networks. This presentation will be in both voice and text. If you have questions, please type them into nearby chat and I'll answer them in text. These slides are available online here if you have trouble seeing the ones in World. Some of the information in this presentation is intended for newcomers and some for more experienced users. I'm going to be skimming over a wide variety of resources, so please don't be overwhelmed. I would suggest picking out just one new thing to start with. Our essential question is, how can we best use our professional connections to benefit our teaching and learning? Before we begin, please make a new note card or write on a sticky note and name it Professional Connections. This is optional, just do this if you want to. Write on it one or two professional organizations that you found to be helpful, including your own if you have one, and save the note card. I'll give you a minute. We'll come back to this later. A little bit about me. Hopefully not too much. My initial goal was to learn to use Second Life to attend VSTE meetings and professional development sessions online. I learned so much more. My professional and personal worlds have been expanded exponentially. When I started using Second Life, I had a steep learning cliff to conquer. It took me a week to learn how to just move my avatar around effectively, and it was at least a month before I learned how to change my clothes. I persisted because the people I met here were so helpful and welcoming that I wanted to participate in the communities that I found. I got frustrated with trying to find information about the various events, so I wound up doing publicity in World and on social media for many of these groups. I consider myself a liaison between all of these groups, and I do a lot of cross-postings of, I didn't check this before I started, hang on, let's see. Of meeting notifications among all of them. Thanks, Day. I like being able to connect people together and to help create community. My professional connections have gotten deeper and more numerous over the past few years. I thought about saying my virtual professional connections, but although the meeting places are virtual, the people and the connections are real. In many cases, they extend into other social media and into physical life. I make friends wherever I go in virtual worlds. The result of all these connections is that when someone is telling me about their project, I can often think of someone else who might be able to help them, resulting in more connections within the educational and library communities. But enough about me. Let's find out about each other. How can we find kindred spirits? Browsing profiles. By the way, the images in this presentation are from the Firestorm viewer, but the Second Life viewer has similar options. You can also use the Firestorm viewer to access OpenSim virtual worlds like Kitely. Look around at the profiles of the people in this room. Don't be afraid of appearing nosy. They can't tell you're looking at them. Profiles, for most people anyway, are meant to be read. Here are some things to look for in profiles when you're seeking professional connections. Under the Second Life tab, look for education-related groups, a lack of unprofessional sounding groups. You know you can hide your groups, right? So that your nude beach group doesn't have to show when you're at a professional thing. Look at their pics for education-related places and a lack of unprofessional sounding places. And in their First Life tab, an indication of real-life education, job, or interest, while still protecting privacy. Be really careful what you put on there about yourself, because once it's there, it's impossible to really take it away, just like the web. When you find someone you'd like to connect with, chat with them a little bit, either in nearby chat or IM them, before sending them a friend request. It's nice to break the ice first. If we are not already friends, please feel free to send me a friend request. Here are some other things to look for when you're seeking professional connections. For appearance, you can look for a professionally dressed avatar. A human avatar can be helpful, but it's certainly not necessary. Clothes, shape, and hair can be fairly conservative. Speech can be professionally appropriate, either in chat and in voice if used. Appearance is probably the least important of these. Sometimes experienced educators are just new to Second Life. They may look like newbies here, but in the educational field, they're not. These things are just clues about how trustworthy the person behind the avatar might be. You can use these ideas to make yourself look more professional, too. Often people will have one avatar for professional stuff and an alt for play. Here's a shameless self-promotion alert. I have long been frustrated looking for decent professional clothing to wear to education events, so I finally opened my own shop. Thanks to some talented and generous friends, I'm able to offer a one-stop shop for clothing and hair for ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, that got chopped off. Let's see. Anyway. Okay, here are some profile differences between the two viewers. The Second Life viewer is the default viewer made by Linden Lab. That's the one on the left. And the Firestorm viewer is one of the most popular third-party viewers. That's the one on the right. I discovered contact sets from Firestorm. I haven't really used these, but they can look like they could be really helpful to organize a large friends list. Whoops. Hang on, I'm clicking on the wrong things here. Okay, professional groups. What are some of the professional groups that you're in? Look at the note card you made earlier, and please type into chat the name of at least one professional organization that you found to be helpful. If you haven't already, please touch the box here in front of me to get a note card. It'll say, let's see, connecting with educators in virtual worlds, I think. Hi, Zinnia and Heike. The list is also on my blog, so you can get to it outside of Second Life. I just hopefully updated this. If there's anything messed up about it, please let me know. The resources are sorted alphabetically, including Second Life groups and places, websites, and social media sites. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one, or some of them, but first let me show you how to join any of these groups. The top of the list tells how to join groups in Second Life, or the top of the note card. So when you look at a group URI, you can just copy and paste that into chat. Like, let's see. It'll start with Second Life, and it'll end with about. And then when you press enter, the group comes up like that, and you can click on the group profile and join it if you want to, or just find out more about it. I'm going to stand up from this podium. This is kind of a strange pose thing. I felt like I was leading a choir or something. Okay, slide 8, Virtual Pioneers. Virtual Pioneers was the first place where I felt at home in Second Life, thanks to Serena Offcourse and Spiff Whitfield. Thank you, Spiff. This is a group of people who are interested in exploring historical sims. Most are educators, but not all. The upstairs of headquarters contains a gallery of free historical clothing from different eras and a wall full of information from past tours. Every other week, we have tours. If you are a Virtual Pioneers member, please type a Y in chat. This is VISTE, the Virginia Society for Technology and Education. This is where we are right now. VISTE is where I got my start in Second Life. It's a state affiliate of ISTE, and as far as I know, it's the only state affiliate in Second Life. Virginia has an amazing group of educators. We have a lot of fun together, but we also get a lot done to further education in virtual worlds. We have a whole island, which includes a historical simulation of the Jamestown colony. If you're a VISTE member, please type a Y in chat. ISTE is probably the largest educational technology organization in the world. The Virtual Environment Network is the largest special interest group in ISTE. I'm not sure if that's still true or not, but it was. We have weekly events. This is old. And we don't have bi-weekly tours anymore. We participate in the annual Real Life Conference in June. Thanks, Blue. If you are an ISTE member, please type a Y in chat. VISTE is free to join in the physical world. ISTE is not. VWR, or the Virtual Worlds Education Roundtable, has met weekly in Second Life since 2008 to discuss education. Some weeks are open forum when anyone can bring up a topic for discussion. Most weeks have themes set in advance. The meetings are in text, so it's easier to keep up with it. A few meetings feature, guest speakers and are held in voice with text transcription. The official transcripts are posted online at vwr.info. Callie Pizarro and Sheila Yoshikawa run the group. That's a new website for VWR, so if you're using the old one, this is the one to go to. If you're a VWR member, please type a Y in chat. This group meets on Thursdays at noon Second Life time, so it's not real great for people who live in the East Coast US, but it's great for people who live in Europe. When I first got to Second Life, I was looking for my people, but I couldn't find the American Library Association anywhere as their SIM had closed. I did find the CVL, or Community Virtual Library, and even better, I found a librarian to help me. The CVL is a great help to newcomers and oldies. Volunteers are always appreciated, but even if no one is working when you go, there are plenty of interactive resources. Thanks to Selby Evans, we have a whole new parcel to work with, so there's a lot of really cool stuff there. Since then, I've found quite a few other libraries in Second Life, but that's a whole different topic. Nonprofit Commons in Second Life offers free office space for nonprofits here. Rhiannon Chatmar organizes interesting topics every Friday. And this is another good place for people on a European schedule because it meets on Friday at 8:30 Second Life time. I always learn something new, and I meet wonderful people. Nonprofit Commons offers a lot of resources for nonprofits, both in-world and out. I don't get to attend these anymore, but every now and then I go. If you're a Nonprofit Commons member, please type a Y in chat. The following slides show some different ways that you can publicize your organization, both in and out of Second Life. The Open Simulator Community Conference focuses on virtual worlds outside of Second Life with a variety of speakers. And it used to have a variety of tracks, but I think now it just has one, which makes it much easier to figure out what to go to. It's organized by Avacon Incorporated, which is also run by Rhiannon Chatmore. It's usually held in the fall. More information is available at that website. And if you hang on a second, I can tell you when it is this year. I think it's the first weekend in December. Second weekend. It's the 8th and 9th of December. If you've been to one of the OSCC conferences, please type a Y in chat. I think several of you have presented there too. Yes, their sessions are streamed, so it makes it easier to keep up with it. And of course, the Virtual World's Best Practices in Education Conference is another big Virtual Worlds conference. This one incorporates many different kinds of virtual worlds, including Second Life. The next one will be held April 4th through 6th, 2019. I'm privileged to serve as the communications chair for this conference. We found that Second Life notices were the most effective way to reach our audience with conference information, surprisingly, but other social media avenues also help. And that's the website for more information. If you've been to one of the VWBPE conferences, please type a Y in chat. And again, many of you have presented there too. Thank you. So, finding group notices can be tricky if you're not used to looking for them. Sometimes they pop up as notices when you log in, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes, even if they pop up, you can get the attachment, and sometimes you can't. So, here's the scoop. They're found in the upper right-hand corner of your viewer, in both the Second Life viewer and the Firestorm viewer. When you click the little square, the notices will drop down. Mine are someplace else. I think I set that in preferences. Once you click OK, the notice disappears, but it's not gone. You can find it in the group profile. OpenSim groups work the same way Second Life groups do, although they're not used as often. If you have your IMs forwarded to email, your group notices will appear there too. So here's where they're hiding. If you look in the group profile, you can enable and disable notices and chat for that group too. The left side shows the Second Life viewer. There, the Notices tab is the third one down. And then the Firestorm viewer on the right shows the Notices tab on the top. So you just click the tab. You can sort the notices by date or whatever. If there's an attachment, you can click Open Attachment to add it to your inventory. To post group notices, you need to have a group role that is able to do that. When you click the plus new notice button, a blank form opens. There's a 509 character limit for Second Life notices. And I'm going to make a note of that because I forgot where I put that little statistic. Yes, it is a little better than Twitter. More information on publicity is explained in an old presentation that I did a few years ago, linked there. Now, how do you find out about the many events for educators in virtual worlds? There's information at the top of the resource list about how to join in-world groups and find notices. The resources on the document are in alphabetical order. This slide shows, hang on. This slide shows the ISTE Virtual Environment Network's massive open online calendar found at that website. This is the Google Calendar, which is embedded in a web page. You can add it to your own Google Calendar by using the plus at the bottom. Hey, me too. My Google Plus calendars help keep the train on the rails. I have my own original calendar, several others that I've been given edit rights to, and a bunch more that I just view, all in one place. And I actually use this for work too, so I've got a whole another set of Google Plus calendars for school. Sean Maloney of Craft World has this tutorial on how to add other calendars to yours if you need it. You can toggle calendars on and off to see events and color code them so it's easier to understand what you're looking at. This slide shows a week with some of the calendars not showing. Yeah, I can't even see mine if I check all the tabs. It's just too much. This is what a single day view looks like. Yeah, I agree, Blue. You can add an event by clicking any blank space. Make sure you check which calendar you're adding the event to. I have very briefly added my hair appointment to the ISTE calendar. Google Plus communities can really facilitate off-grid communications. Google also doesn't mind if you set up an account for your avatar, unlike Facebook. I recommend setting your community as public with yes, anyone can ask to join. Google has totally messed up their events, so I'm just going to skip over that part. Google already updated quite a while ago. You can add events to Google Plus and have them appear on a community page, but it's really tricky. There are Facebook pages and there are Facebook groups. This is a Facebook page. Facebook is not avatar friendly and tends to be much more cluttered with postings, but many more people are on Facebook, so it can be helpful to post things there too. And Facebook still lets you post events to a group page. The pages are one-way communication. You can post events and information, but others can't add to it unless you make them a moderator. Pages can only be liked, not joined. Oh, I get too distracted with everything on Facebook. So this is a Facebook group. Those allow for two-way communication and can become filled with unwanted spam unless you keep an eye on it. Groups can be public, closed, or secret. Events can be created here too. Twitter is an awesome place to find information and ideas. But depending on how many people you follow, Twitter can get really crowded too. It's the best medium for quick one-way burst of information that can be targeted to a group. If your tweets get retweeted, you'll reach even more people. You or your group can have a profile. You can also give access to the people responsible for tweeting to you. And Twitter is where hashtags originated, and these are now used in Facebook and other social media too. You can use multiple hashtags. You use the hash sign plus words to enable similar tweets to be searchable. So if you search hashtag VWBPE, for example, you'll come up with all the posts that have that hashtag in them. In a Twitter chat, the same hashtag on different people's tweets enables a conversation to be followed. And there are some third-party apps that'll do that for you too. So this is an old one. This is the SLED listserv, which is still used and still helpful, I think. It's not used as much, but if you want to be on the listserv, you can go to that website to sign up. It also gives you information on how to post something. Oh, Blue, good question. Well, if y'all think of any, just post them anytime. Quite a few virtual world education groups have websites, and of course you can find and distribute information through these too. The sites shown here are Virtual Pioneers and VWR. Some group websites are included on the resources document. They can be created at no cost using Weebly, WordPress, and other blog sites. I really like WordPress. I've been using that a lot lately. Oh, thanks, Blue. Several bloggers can be helpful in promoting virtual world events. Check out SL Inquirer. I think that's still active. Prim Perfect and Daniel Voyager and Inara Pay. Oh, thank you, Miss Bask. Selby Evans' virtual outworlding blog is, of course, one of the master blogs. He provides a huge number of resources and connections for anyone exploring education in virtual worlds. Thinkerer keeps his finger on the pulse of what's happening. And if you'd like to catch up with Thinkerer inworld, he attends almost all of the viewer meetings on Thursdays. The Second Life Destination Guide has a section on education and nonprofits, and more subcategories are in the left-hand navigation bar. Of course, not everything is here, and a few of the things that are here are not really active anymore, but it is a place to start. If you don't, I don't know how to get your organization in here. So if you know, please share. I still haven't figured that out. When you log into your Second Life account on the web, you'll see an events choice on the left side. Two of the categories are charities, support groups, and education. Creating events requires that you have that right in the group that owns the land where the event will be held. But that can be a little tricky. When you click Submit New Event, the event posting rules come up for you to read. After you click I agree, you can click the drop-down menu for location to see where you are allowed to post notices or post events. Another shameless self-promotion alert. This is a book that I wrote a chapter for a few years ago. The chapter that I wrote was adapted from this presentation. So you're getting the updated version. It's kind of expensive. It's like $65 for the book, so don't buy it unless you really need it. Okay, what questions do you have? Please type them into chat. You know there's something you wanted to ask. there's my contact information. If we're not already friends, send me a friend request if you'd like. Come to the Book and Tankard. It's a fun place to hang out.